What's up, guys? This is Derek from Tap and Turn Gaming. Hope you're all having a good day, good weekend, good month. Coming at you today with an EDH deck tech from my Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow, a Tribal Ninja deck, which also happens to be episode 3 in my quest for 32. So I'm going to be going over my deck construction, and then after that I'll be going over a little bit of synergy that the deck has and some of my lines of play. So let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so we're going to go over what my commander is. Yuriko is a Dimir colored, which is blue-black. She's a 3-cost 1/3, paying 1 a black and a blue for a human ninja. She has a unique ability called Commander Ninjutsu that lets you use ninjutsu to be able to get her onto the battlefield. Now, ninjutsu was an ability we saw in Kamigawa, and then later on in Modern Horizons, I believe it was. And what it lets you do is whenever you have a creature that attacks, if it is unblocked, you can pay the ninjutsu cost to return any attacking unblocked creature from your hand, from the battlefield, to replace it with the ninja from your hand. And she has command ninjutsu, so if I have an unblocked attacker, I can pay her 2 mana to put her from the command zone onto the battlefield. It's very unique because it lets me get around her commander tax because I never have to pay the tax on that price. On top of her other ability, it says whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of my library and put it into my hand, and each opponent loses life equal to its cost. So if she hits, I reveal a 3 cost, everybody takes 3. If I attack with 5 ninjas and they all hit, and it's a 2 cost, a 3 cost, a 4 cost, a 5 cost, it's the combined total of all those cards together, which can add up to a lot of damage rather quickly. Even though ninjas generally don't hit for a lot, it gives them a lot of power. So let's go over the deck. Alright guys, so first we're going to start with the mana base. We run 13 Islands, Halimar Depths, 7 Swamps, Bajuka Bog, Dwar Isle Refuge, Secluded Glen, Dreadship Reef, Drowned Catacombs, Temple of Deceit, Dimir Guildgate, Dismal Backwater, Watery Grave, and Creeping Tar Pit. And then for a couple of my more utility lands, as I would like to call them, we are running Reliquary Tower, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, Rogue's Passage, Unclaimed Territory, and Path of Ancestry. So you probably are look at this and say, oh, this deck is garbage, comes into play tap lands. It's mostly just a budget casual deck. Probably power level 5 and 6, somewhere in the middle of the pack. It's pretty focused for what it wants to do, but it's not trying to just straight up win and obliterate a table. So let's go on to my sorcery package. We run Ponder, Serum Visions, Gitaxian Probe, Discovery Dispersal, Notion Rain, Treasure Cruise, Artful Dodge, Distortion Strike, and Preordain. A lot of those are going to be to set up draws, a little bit of unblockable action. Go ahead and look at my enchantments. I run Smoke Shroud, Cunning Evasion, Bident of Thassa, Reconnaissance Mission, and Kindred Discovery. For my artifacts, we're running Soul Ring, Shuriken, strictly for the flavor, even though the card is not great, but it does give me some repeatable removal, which is not terrible. Sensei's Divining Top, Aether Vial, Dimir Signet, Dimir Keyrune, Dimir Cluestone, Dimir Locket, Commander Sphere, and Cauldron of Eternity. My instant package is probably the largest package in the game. So we run Opt, Brainstorm, Darkness, Reality Shift, Psych Rift, Mission Briefing, Go for the Throat, Doomblade, Sudden Spoiling, Hero's Downfall, Dismember, Murder, Capsize, Dissipate, Dissolve, Scatter to the Winds, Void Shatter, Fairy Trickery, Sinister Sabotage, Release to the Wind, Ghostly Flicker, and Displace. Then lastly we'll go over the creatures, and then I'm going to switch over to talk about some of the synergies and lines of play we have. So we run Changeling Outcast, Skullsnatcher, Mistblade Shinobi, Phantom Ninja, Mist-Syndicate Naga, Throatseeker, Walker of Secret Ways, Ingenious Infiltrator, Moonblade Shinobi, Ninja of the Deep Hours, Sakashima Student, Okiba-Gang Shinobi, Throat Slitter, Higure the Stillwind, Fallen Shinobi, Ink-Eye Servant of Oni, and Silent-Blade Oni. So those are all my creatures. Now we're going to switch over and go over some of the synergies and lines of play that I like to go over. Alright, so now we're going to talk about some of the synergies the deck has and some of the cooler moves I can do. Ultimately, it doesn't have a tricky style of play. I want to get down ninjas, I want to hit my opponent for small amounts of damage to trigger Yuriko's ability to reveal big cards to go ahead and do lots of damage. Like for instance, if I reveal my Cauldron of Eternity, I'm going to do 12 damage, 12 life loss to each player. And that's a big differential because things that prevent damage or those kind of effects don't matter if it's just a loss of life, which is much harder to find prevention from loss of life. So let me go over some of the synergies I have. One of which is my general herself. She really wants me to get creatures down, creatures like these guys right here, and just hit for damage, boom, 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 reveal cards, boom, 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 and do a static amount of life loss based off that. So now I'm going to go and talk about sort of how ninjutsu works out. So if I have down Yuriko and I have down Ninja of the Deep Hours, I attack with both, and Yuriko gets blocked, but Ninja of the Deep Hours doesn't. Okay, so what's going to happen here is I can now activate ninjutsu from a creature in my hand. Ninjutsu doesn't do anything if they're on the board, but if there's a ninjutsu creature in my hand, so we'll say this one's in my hand for the sake of argument so you can see it. Now what I can do is I can pay the 4 mana to return the Ninja of the Deep Hours to my hand because he was unblocked while Yuriko was blocked. So I could go ahead and tap my mana, boom, boom, boom. I return Ninja of the Deep Hours to my hand, and Fallen Shinobi goes in tapped and attacking. Now what's really interesting is the way you can do this is I can do this before damage, so Fallen Shinobi's hitting, or I can do it after damage, so Ninja of the Deep Hours is hitting, depending on which effect I want to use. Even more so is you can do it after damage before you leave combat if you just want to switch out creatures. So let's say again Yuriko attacks and my Knight of the Deep Hours attacks. Yuriko gets blocked and Ninja of the Deep Hours hits. And let's say I want his ability, because when he hits I draw a card. So I'll let that happen. But then let's say I want to have a bigger, beefier body. After damage is dealt, I can pay the mana, put him into my hand, put him onto the board, tapped and attacking. Now the attacking part isn't relevant for the most part. Corner cases it may be, but it's not really relevant because damage has already been dealt. He just goes into the board tapped and attacking. He doesn't deal any damage, doesn't trigger any abilities unless it's an ETB. But it's a cool little ability. Now another cool thing you can do with ninjutsu that people sometimes fail to realize, I think, is you can do it multiple times. Now again, let's go to the same scenario. Knight of the Deep Hours swings, Yuriko swings. Same thing, Yuriko got blocked, Knight of the Deep Hours got through. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to pay mana to put in my Fallen Shinobi before damage, tapped and attacking. Ninja of the Deep Hours comes back to my hand. So Fallen Shinobi hits, he deals 5 damage. I trigger his ability, I trigger Yuriko's ability, and life is good. But then I want to protect him. I don't want him on the board. So while we're still in combat and he's still an unblocked attacker, I can now pay Ninja of the Deep Hours ninjutsu cost again to put him back on the board tapped and attacking. Again, the attacking part won't be relevant because damage is already dealt, but that will put Fallen Shinobi back into my hand. And as long as you have the mana, you can keep switching them out and switching them out and switching them out, as long as you haven't left combat. It could be before damage, it could be after damage, it doesn't really matter, because the only clause is that for ninjutsu to work is that they're unblocked and attacking. That's it. And once you pass the blocking phase, they can't be blocked, they'll always be unblocked. So it's a cool little synergy that you can do. You can just switch them out like boom. As long as you have the mana to keep paying the abilities, you can switch it and switch it and switch it for whatever abilities you may have. And you might be asking why that's relevant. Like, why would something like that be relevant to just keep switching them out? Well, if you have something down like a Kindred Discovery, every single time you do that, you're going to draw a card. Not on the attack part, because since they already, since they come in tapped and attacking, they won't trigger the attack trigger, but they will trigger the enter the battlefield to draw a card every time. So I can just keep drawing a card and drawing a card and drawing a card. And I've used this as a very effective draw engine multiple times. And then you also have the, so that's one of my synergies right there, is being able to swap out ninjas, to draw multiple cards. Another one of my really big synergies I like that's very, very good with ninjutsu and highly undervalued, I believe, honestly, myself, is Cunning Evasion. This is one of my biggest, like, probably coup de grace deck cards in the deck that I feel like people don't pay enough attention to. So what it does is, a 2-cost card says, whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, I may return it to my hand. And you look at that and you're like, okay, no big deal, nothing happens. But let's say, I attack with the Yuriko, I attack with the Ninja of the Deep Hours. The Ninja of the Deep Hours gets blocked. The Yuriko doesn't. Okay, well now I can return him to my hand, and this is happening before combat because it's during the block phase. Now I have a ninja I can ninjutsu in. My opponent wanted to block the biggest guy to take less damage, but at that point they've also given me a ninja in my hand, so now I can pay his ninjutsu cost and say return Yuriko to my hand. I mean, maybe not optimal because I want Yuriko's effect to trigger, but it's a thing that I have that I can do. And also, Cunning Evasion makes it so my guys will never die in combat if I don't want them to. If there's a block that I don't like, I return it to my hand. Now I have a card in my hand that I can ninjutsu in, maybe trigger my Kindred Discovery again, and that's just a nice value engine I can generate and keep reusing my ninjutsu abilities over and over and over again, and the opponent won't know which creature is going to hit, because if I attack with 3 and they block 2, those 2 blocked ones return to my hand. Now any one of those 2 blocked creatures could become the 3rd creature, or the 3rd creature could just stay the same creature, and it's great value there. Another little value engine I have, I guess you could say, is a little 2-card synergy, and that comes with the Cauldron of Eternity and Higure the Stillwind. So this has a cost reduction based on creatures in my graveyard, and that's fine. Its main ability I use it for is its static secondary ability of whenever a creature you control dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. I like that because with Higure, when he deals combat damage to a player, I can search my library for a ninja card and put it into my hand. So these two work very, very well together. This lets me be a little more aggressive, because if I start sending in and their creatures are dying, they go to my library, Higure finds them again, and I ninjas come back. It gives them a little more bite, a little more resilience, and I like that a lot. And then this also lets me res creatures as well if I want. Again, I don't really use that as much. It's mostly just a static ability. I kind of just let it sit there and either be eat a piece of removal or keep using that middle ability, keep putting them back into my library. So that's really nice. One of the biggest things I like to do, get down my Bident of Thassa, get down my reconnaissance mission, so every time one of my creatures deals combat damage, I draw a card. Just draw a lot of cards. I have a lot of removal through through instants. I have a lot of kill spells. I have a lot of counter spells just to help clear the path so my ninjas can get through. You know, I may only need to hit with 4 or 5 creatures to do a lot of damage very quickly with the spells I have. And the last single thing I'll go over that people seem to overlook is these 2 right here. My Scatter to the Winds and my Creeping Tar Pit. Scatter to the Winds is a counterspell that if I can counterspell for 3 mana, or I can counterspell for 6 mana, and that would animate one of my lands and give me another creature that I could potentially use to ninjutsu something in. Same thing with Creeping Tar Pit. Creeping Tar Pit is actually very, very good for it, because I play the land, I animate it for 3 mana, and it becomes an unblockable attacker. Now that's a guaranteed ninjutsu trigger. Again, very, very good for me. So I have a couple ways to try to enable some ninjutsu. Ninjutsu itself is a very tricky ability. But yeah, I'd say Yuriko's not one of my more technical decks. I have a lot of decks that do a lot of things. Build an engine, do this, do this, do this, do that, do this. Combos, you would say. I just like to say I like to build an engine and have all the parts that do things. Yuriko's pretty straightforward. I want to get ninjas down, I want to swing an attack. Every time a ninja hits you while she's down, it generates value for me with life loss for you, on top of the damage being dealt by the creatures. So if Yuriko, if this one damage hits you, bink, and she hits you for 1, and I reveal this Fallen Shinobi, well, that 1 damage just turned into 1 damage and 5 life lost for a total of 6 life lost. That's not something to scoff at by any means. So it's very effective. But yeah, that would be my Yuriko the Tiger Shadow EDH deck tech. Again, this is episode 3 in my quest for 32, where I'm going to be building a deck of every color combination and bringing those all to you. I love feedback, constructive criticism, What you like, what you don't like, I don't mind. I will answer every single comment that comes in. So please take the time to like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really helps if you click the notification icon. We really just want to help grow the channel. And well, yeah, we'll get back at you. This is Derek with Tap Engineering Gaming, and have a great day.